Happy International Podcast Day, everybody. This is one of my favorite days of the year. It's like almost my Christmas. Well, sort of. September 30th every year, International Podcast Day is. It's a great day to celebrate what exactly podcasting is all about, and so I thought I would do a quick little video to kind of explain to everybody my podcasting origin story, how I got involved in podcasting. I started back in May of 2005, so it's been, if my math is correctly, carry the one, yes, 12 years of doing this. May 20th, 2005 is, I think, the exact day. And I was just a guy sitting at home, unemployed, freshly out of college, and had this dream of becoming a broadcaster. I went to school for radio broadcasting at Bowling Green, and just never could find that career path. Could never get into radio. Couldn't find my way in. And so I remember I was sitting at home in our apartment here in Perrysburg, Ohio, and Sarah, my wife, well then girlfriend, was at work. And I was just sitting around playing a bunch of Xbox and PlayStation, not doing a whole lot. And I just happened to have CNN on for the day. I don't know why. I don't know what made me think to have CNN on for the day, but I had CNN on in the background, and all of a sudden this news story came up about this new form of media called podcasting. And I was like, what is podcasting? We didn't have iPods back then, or at least they were just, if they did have any, they were brand new, hadn't been released for very long. Sarah might have had an iPod back then, but this radio story, or the CNN article, news story on TV, was explaining this thing called podcasting, and how people could broadcast from their own home. And for me, I had been wanting to get into broadcasting. I always loved being behind the microphone and trying to create content. And it was an eye-opener. And I was like, oh my God, I could totally be doing this. And sure enough, a few weeks later, I launched my very first podcast with Andy Barch and Eric Bell, two very near dear friends to me who I had been in college radio with, who had experience being on a microphone. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. And we launched the TripsLeft.com sports shorts. And it only lasted, I think 15 episodes tops. And for that, and for one reason was because I ended up finding a job and it kind of got in the way and had to move home, and things just, it didn't really work out. So that's how I discovered podcasting. Like that fateful day, for whatever reason, I just happened to be watching CNN. Had I not been watching CNN, I would have probably discovered podcasting later on. But that day changed my life forever. You know, a lot of people will say, don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound like I'm saying anything bad about my wife and kids. Those days were fantastic. The day I got married, the day that the kids were born, were two very important days in my life. But I can honestly say the day that I was watching CNN changed my life for forever. The friendships and the people that I've met throughout podcasting, that day would maybe not have happened had I not been watching CNN on that fateful day back in April of 2005. And here we are 12 years later, and I've produced over 700 podcast episodes throughout my career as a podcaster. A lot. I mean, it's been a long journey. Certainly not ending. I don't want it to sound like this is a bad ending anything. I'm here just celebrating what is Podcast Day. It's been a tremendous year for podcasting. It's been a tremendous growth for podcasting over the last few years. And for those of you who are watching, thank you very much for the comments. Steve Lee, I have to give it up for Steve Lee. He is the founder of International Podcast Day, and I'm honored to consider him a friend here in the podcasting space. It's really cool how that all developed. Sarah, my wife, is a graphic designer. She created logo, the artwork for International Podcast Day. So I'm even more proud of this day here on September 30th because it's a kind of a family affair here in the Superling household. Joe, thank you for the comment. I appreciate that. So yeah, I love September 30th. It's a great day for folks to kind of recognize what podcasting is. It's a great day for folks to share the podcast they listen to. So if you're watching me live right now, in the comments, let me know some of the podcasts that you're listening to. In fact, I'll even I'll look at my phone here and take a look here at some of the podcasts I listen to. For those of you who know me, you know I'm a big soccer fan. I'm a huge fan of the BBC podcasts that cover soccer over in Europe. It's my way of staying connected to the Premier League across the pond. We don't get a whole lot of coverage here, but it's getting better. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts over from the BBC. The United Rantcast is a fan podcast for Manchester United supporters, so I listen to that. I'm a big fan, and I make this a routine every single week. I listen to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me from NPR. It's a great it's not really a game show, but it's a fun show that covers the week's news. And I always feel like I don't miss a beat when I listen to NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. I really recommend that one. That's a good one. I listen to Dave Jackson's School of Podcasting. Trivial Warfare is something I listen to each and every week. It's become routine for me as well. And I consider Jonathan Oakes, the host of that show, a near and dear friend of mine as well here in the podcasting space. Let's see. Mike Hudson says a view from the cheap seats with the Sklar brothers. I like that. Mom now chiming in that she listens to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I think that's the only podcast that she listens to, and let's just keep it that way. No, I'm kidding, Mom. Thank you for your support as well over the years. I listen to that. There are so many podcasters and friends of mine that I've met over the years. I can't name them all here, but I'm going to do my absolute best to tag them in this video afterwards. The short list. I've worked with Corey Finneran from IVNV over the years. I've worked with, now I'm drawing a blank, of course, Nick Wallace, a friend of mine who wasn't a podcaster and said, hey, let's do a tech show. So Thursday Tech Talk. Anthony Ackerman. That was a fun show. I've worked with Jay Burnham, who is a minor league broadcaster for baseball. We did the minor league report, which was very successful over the years. Eric Little, Mike Passanisi, Sam Siegel. I know I'm forgetting a few names. Tawny Finneran, of course, on Podcasters Group Therapy. Corey and Tawny, we still do that show, believe it or not. But I think we do like maybe 1 or 2 episodes a year at this rate. So, but again, so many friends that I've met over the years, whether it be through podcasting or podcasting conferences. I wish I could name you all. Jared Easley, a tremendous friend here in the podcasting space, the founder of Podcast Movement. I mean, the guy, I still vividly remember the first time I met this gentleman. We were sitting in a hotel room in Vegas, and he just laid it all out for me. He said, Subs, you're going to be a success someday. And I kept looking at him saying, what are you you don't even know me. But he had blind faith in me then, and he's always shown it. And so, Jared, I thank you for your support over the few years that we've known each other. But yeah, September 30th, it's podcast day. It's one of my favorite days of the year. It's a day that we celebrate and recognize podcasting. And I wanted to create this video so that friends and family who are constantly seeing podcast posts from me get an idea of how much this day and how much podcasting really means to me. It's in my DNA to get behind the mic and do these shows. And I hope that you, over the years of knowing me, have grown to love and appreciate podcasting. Not listening to my shows. Maybe you're not interested in an FC Cincinnati podcast, and that's totally fine. But I hope that I'm educating, and I hope that I've opened your eyes to podcasts that you maybe would have never experienced or tried if you didn't know that I was a podcaster. That's maybe the small piece or small role I play in your podcasting. And if I do, I'm truly honored that I helped introduce you to podcasts. My thanks to my wife. I have to give her a big thank you for allowing me the time to devote to podcasting each and every week. It's not something that you can just sit down and do. It takes a few hours every evening. And I remember launching my second podcast. I said to her, while she was 3 months pregnant with twins, I'm launching another podcast. And she said, okay. Now, most wives would have said you're crazy and no, but my wife knows how much podcasting means to me. And I have to thank her for all the support she's given me over the years. I really do mean that. She's been a tremendous rock and a nice little bouncing board that I could always bounce ideas off of her. And she's never one to shy away from letting me know what I'm doing right and wrong. So, honey, thank you for all your support over these 12 years of podcasting. Okay, so I'm going to read off some of these comments here. Apparently, my mom does listen to other podcasts. She listens to real estate podcasts and TED Talk. So that's cool. Nice, Mom. Mike Hudson says, wait, don't tell me. And then Star Talk Radio with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Interesting. So, yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying Podcast Day. I know typically the people that enjoy Podcast Day are those who are content creators or producers themselves. And we really do take this day and celebrate what it is that we do. It's an absolute blast to create content. It feels natural to be behind a microphone for me, and I really do enjoy it each and every day. And thank you to everybody who's gone out and downloaded one podcast that I've ever created or produced. It's been a long, strange journey these 12 years, but I'm looking forward to the next 12 years to see where podcasting is going to go from here, because it's only going to go up. With the technology we have, with the new smartphones we have, it's becoming more and more easy for people to access great content. And it's absolute blast. I love podcasting, and I don't see myself ever stopping doing it. I'm going to steal a line from my good friend Dave Jackson, who hosts the School of Podcasting. If you're ever interested and want to know more about what it is that we do as podcasters, I recommend checking out the documentary called The Messengers. And he ends the movie with this line. Somebody asked him, when will he stop podcasting? And he said, when I'm dead and you pry the microphone out of my dead hands. And I know I butchered that line, Dave, so I apologize. But he's right. I'm not going to stop podcasting anytime soon. There's absolutely no way that you're going to take this microphone away from me. So on that note, let's see. Ryan Sparks says, I don't have enough time to do my own podcast, but really enjoy the show that you all put. Oh, thank you. He's talking about Cincinnati Soccer Talk, which is the show that I do now. And I have to thank my co-hosts there. There are so many of them. I think we have a team of like 12 now. It's blowing up. The Weigel twins, Brad and Brian, Joseph Sagai, Brian Griffin, Boston Brazel, Bill Wolf, the Wolfman, Ken Hetker, and I know I'm probably, Ben Knapp. Who else am I forgetting? I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and if I am, I apologize. It's been an absolute blast producing content for you, and I'm looking forward to coming up and creating more and more as the years go on. But I think it's time for me to wrap things up. I just wanted to share my story, how I got started in podcasting, and to help celebrate International Podcast Day. It's not over yet. We've got the Podcast Awards coming up tonight at 8 o'clock, where Cincinnati Soccer Talk is a finalist in the sports category, and hopefully we bring home the trophy this year. The Podcast Awards are near and dear to my heart as well. I've been a finalist before on my old Bengals show. More people to thank there. Scott Bantel, Mickey Menser, Anthony Cosenza. We did that show for about 6 years, and it was a lot of fun doing that show. I wouldn't be the podcaster I am today without those gentlemen, and so I owe them a debt of gratitude there. Okay, I think it's time for me to sign off. I appreciate all the hearts, all the loves. Thank you very much. Go out, if you don't subscribe to podcasts and you just happen to come across this video, go out tonight on your smartphone, whether it's an Android device, whether it's an iOS device, an iPhone. Go out and find just one podcast and give it a try. I guarantee you're going to be hooked. Podcasting it's a tremendous space here, and there are so many great content creators and show producers and show hosts. If there's one thing I ask of you, go give it a try. Download one podcast, something that you like, what it is you're passionate about. I guarantee you, there are some. I know folks who create podcasts for beekeeping. Beekeeping, Yes, beekeeping. There's a podcast for that. If you're into, I don't know, city parks, I guarantee you there's a podcast for whatever it is that you are passionate about in life. There is a podcast. So I just ask that you go out and find that. Just try one podcast today and let me know what you think. And I guarantee you're going to be hooked. So on that note, happy International Podcast Day. For more information about International Podcast Day, go to internationalpodcastday.com. And, of course, check us out tonight on the Podcast Awards. All right. Everybody, thank you for your time, and happy podcasting, everybody.